from Trump's former labor secretary. Yep. I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone. That's what Alexander Acosta, former U.S. attorney in Miami, said after explaining why he cut Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart.
So the Department of Justice is expected to release some of the Jeffrey Epstein files today. This comes out.
Hey, guys, this is probably going to come across as shocking to virtually zero people here, but the files that they quote-unquote released, they released to MAGA influencers. It was scrubbed clean of any sort of new details, and that's it. One good part of this, however, is that this is a very direct promises made, promises not kept moment. And a lot of the MAGA influencers are very upset. Some are very upset because they were not a part of the MAGA influencers movement that got access to the files. Others are very upset because the files feature nothing new, okay? And many of them are now extra suspicious of why the real files have not been revealed. Given how stupid things have become, I'm going to be very careful in saying this, but given how stupid things have become in general, I think this would have more of an impact on Trump's reception from many parts of the MAGA base in a negative way than literally if the Trump administration caught Medicaid and like killed their parents. I'm not even kidding. I'm so for real about this. Okay? I can't begin to explain to you. This isn't to say that like it's not important. The Epstein files are insignificant or anything like that. I think they are. But these people are more tuned into that shit than anything else. I could totally see this being like the breaking point or a jump off point for numerous hogs. Hogs are melting down all over Twitter for not getting the Epstein files released. And obviously the House Judiciary put a fucking Rick Roll clip to say breaking Epstein files released. And everyone's like, women were the monsters who organized and participated still walk amongst us, and you're joking about it. This is a fucking insane thing to do. Not the first time Jim Jordan looked the other way when serious crimes were committed. This ain't gonna go how you thought it was. Now, it's because, much like Luigi Mangione, the understandable anger and resentment that Americans feel towards our pedophilic elite is bipartisan. But of course, when you are a part of the pedophilic elite, regardless of your party affiliation, you don't understand that. You think it's like, haha, who cares? Lol, a meme. For a lot of people, it is not a meme at all, okay? And for many of those people that I'm talking about, they're not even, you know, their obsession with this is definitely beyond like a normal, understandable level of enthusiasm and interest. I nor the task force were given or reviewed the Epstein documents being released today. A New York Post story just revealed that the documents will simply be Epstein's phone book. This is not what we or the American people asked for, and a complete disappointment. Get us the information we asked for, says Representative Anna Paulina Luna, official representative for Florida 13. This is not going the way that they thought it would go. I don't know why they thought that like people wouldn't understandably get mad at this shit. Who is subverting POTUS? The Epstein files are a total joke. I know Cash, Pam Bondi, the president. This is not the file. White House tells me that they believe usual suspects at FBI/SDNY has the actual Epstein client list and are refusing to turn it over. This is an internal civil war if true. I will be doing a special X-cast in a few minutes. Attorney General Pam Bondi says FBI withheld information on Epstein files currently held at FBI New York City field office. Bondi wants it delivered to DOJ tomorrow, but it must go through many different levels of protection of victims before released. Oh my God. How much you want to bet they're going to eliminate all of the Republicans and Republican donors from these lists and only keep like, and probably a lot of the Democrat donors too, but only keep like a key number of Democrats from it. Yeah, I already got it. I'm already looking at this link. I do want to mention to every single person that, one, I believe that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad and CIA operative who engaged in blackmailing high-profile individuals on his Lolita Express, including but not limited to sex trafficking minors, and that the American government will never truly reveal the heinous crimes that it committed. Okay? Just so you understand. There is, I didn't think you'd say it out loud. Wait, what? Why? Why wouldn't I say it out loud? The Ehud Barak visited Jeffrey Epstein's New York mansion in 2016. What the is Ehud Barak? Jeffrey Epstein's. Is it not anti-Semitic to say that? I'm genuinely asking. Why is the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion in Manhattan in 2016? What are we even talking about? No, it's not like a polar bear in Arlington, Texas. It's like a polar bear in the Arctic Circle. Okay? Are they in Antarctica? That's where the polar bears are, right? Can you explain the connections between him and the CIA and Mossad? I don't know, man. How did a internationally renowned sex trafficker get a slap on the wrist by, at the time, Florida prosecutor Alexander Acosta, who then became Donald Trump's labor secretary, by the way, later down the line, because people told Alexander Acosta that Jeffrey Epstein had was too valuable of an asset. Also, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's second in command, okay? Ghislaine Maxwell's father is like the OG espionage guy. Robert Maxwell. Hasan is making insane claim. Wait, what? For writer who broke Epstein case, a rumored Mossad link is worth digging into. Reporter Julie K. Brown isn't convinced the accused sex trafficker took his own life and says associate Robert Maxwell may not have been the only one tied to Israeli intelligence. Yeah. On this day of justice and transparency, I'd sure like to hear from Trump's former labor secretary. Yep. I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone. That's what Alexander Acosta, former U.S. attorney in Miami, said after explaining why he cut Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart non-prosecution plea deal back in 2007. Bro, you're going to get canceled over this? Be careful. What are you guys talking about? I think you might be new here, okay? You might quite literally be the newest person here. Famously, back in the day, my YouTube page was completely blacklisted because I went over Jeffrey Epstein's entire case for 8 hours, okay? It was a 10-hour broadcast, and 8 of it was directly dedicated to Jeffrey Epstein. I put that video, the 8-hour video, directly on my YouTube page, and then YouTube blacklisted me completely, okay? The next couple of videos after that got like 10 views. I had to delete the video. How did you get unblacklisted after that? I had to delete the video. It's coming to dangerous territory. What is the dangerous territory? Do you think that Mossad and CIA don't operate side by side on certain issues, but also definitely on other issues hate one another as well? What are we talking about? Hello? Like, what the f do you think Benjamin Netanyahu is? How the f did Benjamin Netanyahu be the consistent leader of Israel for so many years? But okay, maybe I'm dramatic. Just saying I've seen people lose careers over less than this. Dog, what are we talking about? Nothing I have said is incorrect. Also, hello, did you forget that there are some relatively sizable content creators from virtually every fucking part of the ideological spectrum of permissible commentary on American soil that is actively calling me a fucking terrorist? This is what's also everything I've said so far is things that I've said time and time again. Jeffrey Epstein boasted about being a Mossad agent like Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert, according to the bombshell claims from ex-girlfriend. Yeah. Also, you know, I've also talked to the journalists that are tasked with investigating this stuff many times over. Anyway, why would he work with Mossad? Genuinely curious. I don't know. Why don't you fucking ask former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak? He's still alive and well. He goes on television. Don't ask me that. Yes, I'm talking about the famous liberal journalists Brace Belden and Liz Franzak. But Brace is no longer just a liberal. He's also the leader of the white Chinese movement.
After a Republican push for transparency, Griff Jenkins joins us live from Washington with the details. So who's on the list, Griff?
Boy, Lawrence, that is the question. Good morning. And there's no timeline, Lawrence, for when this bombshell may drop today. But if Pam Bondi's teaser to Jesse last night is any indication, we could get some shocking revelations.
200 victims, 200. So we have, well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. What you're going to see hopefully tomorrow is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information, but it's pretty sick what that man did.
Recall this all started after President Trump first told our own Rachel Campos Duffy that he was open to releasing some information.
Bro, it's so funny people forget. President Trump killed him. Like, what are we talking about? And I don't even think he did it because he's like secretly a massive Jeffrey Epstein supporter or whatever. Okay? Like, Donald Trump, ironically enough, I shit on him all the time. If you know anything about their connection to one another, Donald Trump ironically cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein far before the Clintons did, okay? As a matter of fact, the Clintons never really cut ties with the Epsteins. Like, Donald Trump literally used to be homies with them, okay? That's why those videos exist from the 90s. And ironically enough, when he was homies with him, Jeffrey Epstein would use Mar-a-Lago as a hunting ground to get underage girls that he could sex traffic. And as soon as Donald Trump found out that he had this court case, he was like, it's done. There is no other evidence of these two people ever connecting with one another. I still, however, believe that Donald Trump's administration killed him because he was a fucking asset. Too many rich and too many powerful people, liberal and Democrat alike, would get in trouble if the Jeffrey Epstein tapes were ever revealed. That's it. Wait, what? There is no Jeffrey Epstein client list, period. It's a figment of the internet's imagination and a means to just slander people. Oh, she's saying that there is no like official Jeffrey Epstein client list. He was known to record people and save evidence against them. Really? Imagine telling this to fucking Julie K. Brown. She's being sarcastic here, by the way. Julie K. Brown is almost entire. I don't want to put too much stress on her, which I'm sure she's had to deal with for many, many years at this point. But she is quite literally the responsible party for why this Jeffrey Epstein stuff blew up again. Like, almost single-handedly. Julie K. Brown, well, if you actually read my book or anyone's, you would know that the FBI file on Epstein is public. Google it in the FBI's vault. It is, however, heavily redacted. So, yes, there is a file. The real stuff that I would want to know, that I think a lot of Epstein people that have been tracking this stuff for many, many years want to know is what those marked DVDs and CDs had in the Epstein mansion. Okay? I don't think we will ever find out. And I'm almost certain that they fucking deleted all of that shit. I mean, maybe if they just kept it as blackmail, maybe they didn't delete it. But when the police raided, when the second case opened up on Jeffrey Epstein, and the police raided his Manhattan home, they found hard drives. Okay, they found hard drives, CDs, DVDs that were all marked with names that are redacted. The FBI since then has said, oopsie, it may have changed hands and we don't know where they are or some shit like that. I think if they're blackmail on very wealthy individuals, I doubt that they would delete that because that's very important blackmail material. But I understand where Julie K. Brown is coming from in terms of like the Epstein client list.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
Wait, what?
Then last month, President Trump signing an executive order calling on agencies to release secret documents. Well, now Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna says she just heard from the DOJ in posting the letter sent from them to X, which reads in part, "The integrity of criminal investigations and prosecutions is essential to every component of the department's mission to uphold the rule of law, keep our nation safe, and protect civil rights." What's unclear at this point is how this might affect Epstein's co-defendant, Ghislaine Maxwell, who's currently serving 20 years for her role in covering for Epstein. Steve?
We're standing by for it. All right.
Wait, go find the full clip. He straight up says, "No, I actually don't think I will do the Epstein stuff." Shut up. Did he actually? Can someone find that?
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox, where we are following some breaking news regarding documents detailing some of the crimes committed by Jeffrey Epstein. Taking a look here at a post from Fox News on X in which they say Epstein files : Pam Bondi sends fiery note to Kash Patel accusing FBI of withholding docs. So according to Fox News, Attorney General Pam Bondi sending that.
I can tell you one person I know for a fact is a Jeffrey Epstein client and friend, Elon Musk's brother, Kimball Musk. Straight up. Kimball Musk met his girlfriend through Jeffrey Epstein. Yep. She was one of Jeffrey Epstein's girls. Oh, we found the full clip. And no, not every single one of Jeffrey Epstein's girls that he sex trafficked were minors, chap. There were minors as well, for sure. But never every single one of them were minors. As a matter of fact, a lot of them were not minors.
Files.
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you?
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died.
Oh!
It would be interesting to find out what happened there because that was a weird situation and the cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I'd go a long way toward that one. The other stuff I would definitely do the January 6th.
Dog, you were the president. Your main guy at the time, old Bilbo Barr, was in charge of the DOJ. This is a very convenient fact that Trump supporters keep forgetting. Anyway, I just wanted to point this out. I don't think it's because I'm not libbed up and saying like, oh, it's because Trump is compromised or whatever. I don't think he was. I think he was initially compromised, but I think he cut ties far before any of these other pedophilic elite did. Having said that, I think Trump did it because he knows not to rock the boat. That's what I think. Just because he's president doesn't mean he knows what happened in the 7.5 minutes where 2 guards left Jeffrey Epstein unsupervised. Excuse me. The 7.5 minutes where 2 guards left Jeffrey Epstein unsupervised that also there's no footage of because unfortunately in those 7.5 minutes, the cameras actually broke. It worked before and it worked after, but not for the 7.5 minutes that Jeffrey Epstein was left unsupervised. You know what's really funny? This is probably the one like quote unquote conspiracy theory that mainstream media immediately was like, oh, it's not true. He killed himself. He was suicidal. Shut the fuck up. So I guess technically this is the one conspiracy theory I believe. And it was shocking to me that there were people that literally at the time when I was covering it were telling me like, no, but the New York Times said that it was a suicide. Why would you say that? There were literally people in my chat that were trying to be like, no, you don't understand. It was definitely a suicide. Please shut the fuck up. Like I actually love conspiracy theories. I love hearing about conspiracy theories. I talk extensively about like how conspiracy theories work in terms of why they are necessary for a lot of people to hyper focus on the wrong shit. Okay. If you recall, I have talked extensively about how like liberalism needs conspiracy theories so that people don't recognize that it's capitalism that is at fault. If you don't have a materialist interpretation of the political economy, then you have to, if you operate on good bad dynamics, then you obviously will inevitably arrive at conspiracy theories. Many of them are obviously anti-Semitic. Okay. Or at least historically, it's always been Jews that have been responsible for everything in the minds of every fucking freak throughout history, right? So outside of all of that, outside of all the silly, funny, and sometimes scary conspiracy theories, this is, I think, one area where I 100% think that the mainstream media is actively wrong and deliberately not investigating it. Yeah, it was. We talked about it on stream with Brace a few years ago, and you ran a poll on it, and 60% of the chat said it was just a regular suicide. Yeah, like 9/11, JFK assassination, stuff like that. I don't have the full, like, I don't have the same level of confidence in what truly took place there. I guess with 9/11, like, there is obviously a little bit of confidence in terms of, like, you know, at least America's negligence in the process. But with JFK, I don't know. I mean, I meme about, like, George H.W. Bush, but like, I don't know, right? I don't know. I don't have that same level. I don't have that same degree of confidence in the JFK stuff as I do with Jeffrey Epstein. Possibly because I was literally fucking there when this stuff was getting uncovered. So I paid close attention to it. And yes, I still think that Jeffrey Epstein was an American government asset. Jeffrey Epstein was an American government asset who, alongside Ghislaine Maxwell, actively worked within the highest rungs of American and global society, really. And he was a rapist, sex trafficker of minors. And I think his job was basically to connect very wealthy people with one another and also simultaneously blackmail incredibly wealthy people as well. It's not like some kind of satanic conspiracy theory or whatsoever. I think it's a pretty straightforward honeypot blackmail operation. That's it. Personally, it is ridiculous that this person who got busted dead to rights for child sex trafficking got the most sweetheart plea deal of all time from U.S. attorney at the time and then Trump's labor secretary, Alexander Acosta, that literally allowed him to leave the prison. Okay? There is no world in which you do child sex trafficking and you're caught dead to fucking rights, and then the government lets you leave the prison during your sentence on the fucking weekends. That is not real. That doesn't happen in Norway. Okay? That is crazy. Nord Stream 2 pipeline? Okay, that's not a conspiracy. I was vindicated on that fairly quickly. What the fuck? Yeah, that was the shittiest manufacturing consent attempt from the American government. That's when I knew we had no motion. I think that was when I really, truly thought it's over for the American empire. Okay? That actually was like the dumbest way to fucking insta-hit that propaganda point. Well, oh, maybe Russia blew up their own pipeline. That was when I was like, damn, we are running out of juice, bro. We got no fucking juice. We're juiceless. We're sauceless. We got no fucking motion. And that was under the Brandonian regime. You know what I mean?
Because,
Yeah.
oh,
Yes,
beyond
so
all of
far.
them. Because what happened, how about the Unselect Committee? They had meetings, you know, they had all.
Anyway. Why would the YouTube want to censor you back then? Because there's probably a bunch of stuff, like, it was probably treated like vaccine shit. YouTube was far more censorious back then for stuff like that as well. This is before the vaccine stuff, but I'm saying that, like, they have auto filters for certain things that immediately hit you with the fucking black mark of death. Yeah, probably because of Pizzagate and stuff too. But also, it could have been because I posted an 8-hour video. That could be the reason, you know? Like, I don't think they were actively going after people that are talking about Jeffrey Epstein like that.
Letter to FBI Director Kash Patel today accusing federal investigators in New York of withholding thousands of pages of Jeffrey Epstein documents she has vowed to make public. Now, I do have a copy of that letter that was obtained by Fox News. A live now look at the Capitol building as I read to you what the Attorney General had to say. She goes on to say this: "Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily in flight logs, Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn of this new information." She goes on to say by 8 a.m. tomorrow.
What do I make of this intra-hog administrative warfare? I think it's bullshit. I think they're faking it. They're fake. I think that they are basically fake fighting because there's no shot. Like, in order to believe that the Trump administration is honest about like releasing these files, you have to legitimately be a QAnon conspiracist. You have to legitimately think that Donald Trump is actually interested in undermining the deep state. Okay? Donald Trump has never been interested in undermining the deep state because the deep state, a concept that was literally initially invented in Turkey, okay, with the MIT, is a parallel government, a parallel governance, an espionage agency that operates not at the behest of the government, but actually operates alongside the government and oftentimes will undermine the government. Now, while I do believe that in the United States of America, especially in periods of the Cold War, there were instances where the CIA and numerous other agencies like that did operate outside of the boundaries of the American government, but ultimately still at the behest of American capital. Okay? Donald Trump is virtually the greatest deity of American capital. He is a heaven sent for American
February
capital.
20.
Why the fuck would the deep state be against him? No, he hates the annoying, boring, lawyer-ass libtards in the fucking FBI. That's it. Why do you think he never talks about the CIA, for example? He rarely ever talks about the CIA. Some of the gay libs at the FBI that still care about, like, institutional legitimacy or whatever the fuck. That's it. And also, he's a very petty man. He just hates the whole Christopher Steele dossier shit. That's it. He doesn't hate the deep state. There is no parallel interest. There's no parallel governance within the American State Department. Donald Trump is the American State Department. Deep state started with a secret society of assassins that met the Crusaders. Leap of faith, bro. Dude, you are so weird, man. You say this all the time. You say like the weirdest shit in the chat, Tolkien Society. Please stop. For the past 2 days, you've just been chirping nonstop with like fucking things that you're hallucinating. I know that's an Assassin's Creed reference, but I can't tell if you're being serious or not because you literally routinely say some of the weirdest shit.
The FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio and video recordings, and materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, regardless of how much information was obtained. There will be no withholdings or limitations to my or your access. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosure of these files will be done in a manner to protect the privacy of victims and in accordance with law, as I have done my entire career as a prosecutor. Finally, she says, I am also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed. You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your findings and proposed personnel action within 14 days. I appreciate your immediate attention to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency for the American people, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to serve our president and our country. And then it's signed.
They're not going to destroy it. They're just going to put it under a mountain of paperwork. They're going to put it on that like inaccessible information processing system that they fucking have, which if they haven't already, inaccessible by outside internet or anything like that. Why the fuck would they? I just don't think that they would delete blackmail. It's really hard to come by. You know what I mean? Jeffrey worked really hard to get the blackmail. I doubt that they would just delete it. You know what I mean? Yeah, the air gap system that they have, this is probably where they fucking put it. They wouldn't delete it, I don't think. But I will tell you this. I do not think that they will actually reveal any new information. Okay? Or if they do, it'll be like legitimate evidence about Hillary Clinton's involvement, potentially. Even that is a bridge too far in my estimation. But you bet your fucking ass Ehud Barak is not going to be talked about. You know what I mean? You think the Trump administration would actively undermine Israeli assets, for example? Fuck no. If you think that they would, if the Trump administration will burn Israeli assets or even CIA assets, you're out of your fucking mind. That is a big if, by the way, even for the Hillary Clinton shit. They're protecting the Clintons for sure. I don't know if you're being sarcastic when you say this, but I genuinely mean it. I think that they would also go so far as to protect the Clintons as well. 100p. Because these guys are all fucking elites. Okay? That's it. They're all elites. Donald Trump hates the Clintons, even though he was friends with the Clintons for the longest fucking time. There's no shot because it's too disruptive. That would be unironically too disruptive. That'd be the most disruptive thing that Donald Trump has done thus far. Regardless of his petty grievances, Trump knows where his bread is buttered.
Sincerely, Pam Bondi. Now, you may remember
that's why his pussy ass didn't even throw the Clintons in jail, dude. Coward, you know? He kept saying, lock her up. What happened, bitch? You didn't even fucking lock her up. You couldn't even give us a moment of solace in all of the madness your first fucking term. You didn't even do lawfare on Joe Brandon, you fucking demon. What the fuck's wrong with you? He literally did lawfare on you. Look at the DOJ. They came after you for all the minutia. But notice how all of the minutia that they came after Donald Trump was not for the normal elite corruption. It was for like very obvious instances of paperwork mismanagement or things that are not replicable by elites down the fucking line. And obviously, lo and behold, nothing came of that regardless. But where are we at? Why? Why wouldn't you do... Why wouldn't you investigate Joe Biden? Why wouldn't you throw Joe Biden in prison? He's going to fucking die in the process anyway. Make his last years on earth a living hell. Embarrass him. But Trump is a fucking phony and a coward and a bitch, okay? He's bitch made. He won't even give us that. It's true.
Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, she was the one who swore in FBI Director Kash Patel, as you see from this video just a couple of weeks ago. Just to reiterate here, a Fox News reporting that the Attorney General saying that she had requested the full Epstein case file before Kash Patel was confirmed as the head of the FBI and received about 200 pages of those files, far less than a number of pages released last year in a civil lawsuit connected to Ghislaine Maxwell, the trafficker's former lover and convicted accomplice. She said the FBI had never disclosed the existence of those files and demanded that they be turned over by Friday morning, 8 a.m. Friday morning Eastern time, in accordance to that letter. I do want to bring up some more reaction posts on X from several Congress members, representatives.
If they had evidence on Biden, wouldn't they have tried to blackmail Ukraine about Hunter? Wait, what do you mean they did? They did do that. What are you talking about? That's why he got impeached. And no, they did not have evidence. They had evidence on Hunter Biden, obviously getting a job at Burisma that he didn't fucking deserve to get. But they did not have enough evidence to tie Hunter Biden to Joe Biden. That's it. I thought they were just partners, but not romantically engaged. Wait, what? Romantically engaged? What are you talking about? Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were romantically engaged, like Joe Biden was having sex with his son? Is that what you're saying?
Several lawmakers here. The first one being a Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying that...
Oh, you're talking about Maxwell and Epstein. No, they were former romantic partners. And then Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell worked side by side in the sex trafficking and blackmail operation.
Epstein list is going to be released and much more is coming. There's currently a war raging within. The resistance within will be beaten and the truth will be revealed. I'm so proud of AG Pam Bondi and FBI Director Cash, both warriors. And so we'll continue to follow this very closely because, again, this letter is calling for all of those documents to be handed over by 8 in the morning, Friday, February 28th. And we'll be following.
What is this news report? It's kind of weird.
Phase 1.
Like the way that they're covering it. I feel like they're just making up stories to muddy the waters. He fully has cat turd brain. This is the story. President Trump and AG Pam Bondi committed to releasing the Epstein files. They did. About 200 pages. Bondi smelled a rat because there was nothing juicy in the 200 pages. Just flat logs, no smoking gun. Still, Bondi promised to release the documents. She prepared a binder for them. She prepared a binder of them. Then, last night, a whistleblower contacted Bondi and revealed that the SDNY was hiding potentially thousands of Epstein files, defying Bondi's order and to give them all to her. We're talking recordings, evidence, etc., the juicy stuff, names. These swamp creatures at SDNY deceive Bondi, Cash, and you. Be outraged that the binder is boring. You should be, because the evil deep state lied to your face. The binder is powerful because it's tangible physical evidence of the disgusting stunt the SDNY tried to pull. The binder is powerful. Bondi is now demanding all Epstein evidence from SDNY plus an investigation into the persons who committed this act of defiance. The legacy media has betrayed you again. They lied to you. They smear you. They gaslight you. They deserve no special access to real-time exposure of corruption because they played a role in covering it up in the first place. I mean, be for real, dude. You give it to fucking Jack Posobiec, former Naval Intelligence Officer Jack Posobiec, Mike Cernovich, and fucking libs of TikTok, if you were truly serious about revealing this information, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would. Who would I give it to? The guy who runs the End Wokeness account, okay, and libs of TikTok. First of all, it's just not. You are the media, and be very, very angry that the deep state. Yeah, it's the deep state SDNY agents that are hiding the truth, and not our big beautiful boy Donald Trump. Even though he was fucking killed when Trump was president. You are way too informed on all these weirdos getting lost. Okay, so the Jeffrey Jebediah Epstein files were given to MAGA meme guy DC Drano, libs of TikTok, former OAN anchor Liz Wheeler, who we're reading with that funny voice, Pizzagate promoter Mike Cernovich, and numerous others. Today I met with Chad Prather. An eagle-eyed tipster points out one more in the above pic. On the left with the MAGA hat, celebrity gossip influencer RFK enthusiast Jessica Reed Krause, a.k.a. House in Habit. Meanwhile, MAGA comedian Chad Prather scored a binder as well. Yeah, the person that they gave this to, truly unreal, that the Epstein files are being selectively released to, of all people, Mike Cernovich, a pro-rape, an accused rapist, who served as a cat's paw for Epstein attorney and likely Epstein client, Alan Dershowitz, to smear Epstein victim, Virginia Giuffre. Cernovich trained as a lawyer. In 2003, he was accused of raping a woman he knew. The charge was later dropped, but a judge offered him to do community service for misdemeanor battery. His record has since been expunged. Under Nixon, this court should not allow itself to be Cernovich's partner in gratifying his private spite for victims of sexual by giving him depictions of sexual assault to be read or published. Nor should the court gratify Dershowitz's private spite for Miss Giuffre by allowing Cernovich to act as his proxy. Mike Cernovich was harassing Virginia Giuffre, one of the major, if not the most significant Epstein victim. Okay? Virginia Giuffre, that Alan Dershowitz obviously fucking despises and shits on all the time when he's not, like, you know, talking about how Israel is the best country on the planet. Cernovich cites no civil case in which a court modified a protective order to give an intervener access to discovery information about the sexual assault of a minor, except for a case when the intervener was the handicapped victim's mother. Instead, Cernovich cites authority that this is inapposite and self-evidently distinguishable. Honest question, what is stopping Patel from just putting whatever he wants in the Epstein files? Doesn't the Trump White House have complete control over whatever comes out? No, they're not going to fucking put, I don't think that they would put fake information into it. And it's the same reason why they won't actually release the real information that they have either. Okay? Do you understand? Yeah. Alan Dershowitz, the Dersh, who famously advocated to lower the age of consent from a constitutional perspective, of course. Alan, who famously said, "Oh, I've gotten massages at the Epstein home, but I always had my underwear on." That Alan Dershowitz. Also, the only thing that came out of this, the information that came out of this is not new anyway, okay? Which is not very surprising in my opinion. Prather and DC Drano posted the exact same tweets about the binders word for word. Breaking, social media influencers who received the Epstein binder were caught posting identical messages, making it seem like a coordinated advertisement. Today, I met with President Trump, VP JD Vance, AG Pam Bondi, and Kash Patel. They handed me a binder copy of the Epstein files. This is the most transparent administration in American history. The best part? This is just the start. Attorney General Bondi confirmed there are 1,000 more Epstein file documents being secretly held in the SDNY, and they will deliver to the DOJ in D.C. by February 28th. People will be going to jail for what they've done. Fanatical Zionist neocon tech billionaire Peter Thiel, who created J.D. Vance's entire career and whose CIA-founded company Palantir is a core part of Israel's machinery of genocide in Gaza, is of course also closely connected to Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile sex trafficking ring. He even met with Epstein long after he'd been convicted as a pedophile child sex trafficker in 2008. So it is 100% confirmed that Thiel was in on real reasons why, yes, the actual Epstein client list, if it even exists, or even like the blackmail stuff will never come out. Yeah. In anticipation of the seemingly inevitable deluge of dubious info about Epstein in the upcoming months, I dug up an archived version of the original 2015 Gawker article written by Nick Bryant that revealed Epstein's little black book for the first time. Oh, also, this website no longer exists. Do you want to know why this website no longer exists? Because Gawker outed that same libertarian psychopath, fanatical Zionist neocon tech billionaire Peter Thiel, as being a homosexual man. And Peter Thiel hated Gawker for that so much that he vowed revenge against Gawker, and Hulk Hogan was the weapon that he used against Gawker, as he openly admitted to burying Gawker under so much litigation that they would never recover from it. That's what he did. He took out an entire media franchise. Many of you are new here, probably don't know any of this stuff, but yes, Hulk Hogan, was it Bubba the Love Sponge's wife that he fucked? And there was a sex tape, and Gawker released the sex tape saying that it was, information for the public to know. And Hulk sued Gawker, and Peter Thiel funded that lawsuit and took out Gawker. Yeah, Hulk Hogan also famously said the N-word in the sex tape. Yeah. Thiel's company Palantir was founded by the CIA, and through it, he and his slave boys Alex Karp, who I've mentioned a couple times recently, the one with the crazy hair, who's always like, "We're gonna kill our enemies. We execute our enemies," on fucking investor meetings. And Mike Solana are a core part of Israel's genocide of Gaza. Thiel also funds the entire Zionist propaganda network, including low-rate hacks like Rinsberg. Rinsberg is the low-rate hack that wrote that fucking Pirate Wire article that Ethan Klein fucking used on his broadcast to claim that there was a mass conspiracy against him because of a bunch of, in his words, pro-Hamas Discord people that were controlling every Reddit. Ooh, secretly. Yeah, when people say you sound like you're crashing out, it must be because of this pro-Hamas Discord server that Peter Thiel's Pirate Wire's website revealed. That's why. And no, this is not to imply that Ethan is like connected to this fucking ring either. He's just, he's not. He's just a dumbass who personally will use anything and everything with a little bit. He will use any and every unhinged Zionist Hasbara propaganda dish rag to suit his narcissistic desires. Okay? That's it. Yes, he's desperate and gullible. The vast Zionist propaganda and censorship network is directly funded by Peter Thiel and his slave boys, Alex Karp and Mike Solana, who were also CIA and Mossad assets. When you see students expelled, professors fired, people jailed, it all comes back to Thiel. This is correct. What possible answer is there for Peter Thiel, a fanatical Zionist CIA and Mossad asset, being close personal friends with Jeffrey Epstein, including after he was outed as a pedophile sex trafficker of children? There's no answer except that he was and remains a core part of it. It's actually insane how all the main funders of Trump and Trump himself are directly and personally tied to a pedophile serial rapist, Jeffrey Epstein, who was a Mossad asset, blackmailing all the world's elites with pedo tapes. They're all in on it. Like, does it not shock anybody or weird anybody out that, like, Alan Dershowitz, who was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, okay, who defended him in a court of law, was allowed to just operate in polite society, including but not limited to fucking Fox News all the time? He still to this day goes on Fox News all the time, half the time when he's not sucking up the Israeli state's penis over and over again, talking about how it's the most moral nation on the fucking planet. He's literally shitting on Jeffrey Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre. Isn't that strange at all that all of these supposedly QAnon-style conspiracy theorists at Fox News, including but not limited to Tucker Carlson of all fucking people, regularly had Alan Dershowitz as a fucking guest host? How does that work? And it's so funny because all of these dumbass conspiracy theory enjoyers literally can't even put two and two together when it's like directly in front of their fucking faces, because they're so hopped up on partisan fumes that they think, no, this is just a Hillary Clinton move. It's not just like, you know, it's not like there's no bipartisanship in the pedophilic elite, you know? If you were to name all the fanatical Zionists who are directly and personally connected to Epstein's pedophile child sex trafficking ring and their close association to Trump, is like all these are saying Mossad asset blackmail pedophile alert. Like, it's virtually every single fucking liberal and Republican elite, okay? That was his purpose. His purpose was to be the facilitator and the connector. Honest question, this list is taking so long to come out and the timing is coming out. Can it even be considered a reliable source considering lawfare and Trump striking back? If that evidence were to be real evidence, the severity case, stalling the evidence is kind of sus. Dude, there's no real evidence coming out. Most of the posts on Ethan's Reddit are, I was a Hasan fan, and then you check the profiles and they're reposting on the Epstein subreddit and other Zionist subreddits, but you're the one having a crash out law? I know. I mean, this is a very sophisticated network of blackmail, serial doxing, smearing. Like, Israel is a very important asset for the American State Department. Okay? And beyond that, given its major importance, obviously, for the American State Department, Israel has also benefited from being able to operate inside of the American boundaries as not a foreign entity, but instead as an extension of America. There is no other country on the fucking planet where the American government in 38 fucking states has turned around and made it illegal to criticize said foreign country. What are we talking about? Like, does that not strike anybody as odd? And before people say, oh, it's because of the Jews, Hasan is so red-pilled, he's calling it out. No, it has nothing to do with fucking Jewish people, dumbass. They go after Jews all the time. They go after anti-Zionist Jews all the fucking time. Alan Dershowitz very famously destroyed the career of Norm Finkelstein for calling him out as a fucking serial plagiarizer and a shambolic liar for all of his pro-Israeli work. Just make no mistake. This is not about Judaism, even a little bit, and everything to do with Israel. George Soros is Jewish. Yeah. George Soros, okay, is a stupid person's way of trying to be anti-Semitic without like actively being anti-Semitic. Okay? That's it. It's for Republicans to be like, yeah, that's right. Jews are doing the thing. They're controlling Jews are controlling everything, every aspect of our lives. It's like, no, he's just a fucking he is a libtard billionaire, okay? That's it. He's just a libtard billionaire. There are plenty of billionaires that have spent more fucking money dominating American politics than George Soros. small fry in certain instances, if you think about it. Yeah, it's just like Alex Jones when he told Kanye, blame George Soros, not the Jews, right? Anyway. He does support more progressive causes than the typical American Democrat. He's been much more progressive than average on Palestine. Yes, that's why I said he's a libtarded billionaire. Yes. Unlike the rest of the billionaires, he has like Open Society Foundation and all these other fucking things. Like he is more of a liberal than the overwhelming majority of billionaires. That's why he gets so much play. That's why people yell at him all the fucking time. This doesn't mean he's a good guy. Look up George Soros' involvement in Ukraine. Or even, anyway, I don't want to touch this part. Never mind. I don't even want to get into it because then I'm gonna be yelling about a lot of the, let's say, liberal-minded billionaires were heavily involved in Ukraine. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Maybe some of them funded very important publications of investigative reporting. And it wasn't George Soros himself. He's fucking 900 years old anyway. Okay? A lot of the liberal side of the billionaires were really, really heavily involved in creating civil society organizations in Ukraine. I think this also kind of explains why Donald Trump fucking hates Ukraine, aside from his petty grievances, but he sees it as like a libtard project. And also because he loves Vladimir Putin. No, I'm not talking about WAPO. I'm talking about Pierre Omidyar and the fucking Intercept, okay? Who are the... You think Jeff Bezos is a liberal billionaire? No. What? No, I'm talking about Pierre Omidyar and George Soros. Those are the liberal billionaires. I still don't understand why Trump loves Putin. Why wouldn't you understand that? Trump loves fucking Xi Jinping as well. Trump loves Xi Jinping. He doesn't like China. Trump loves he loves Kim Jong-un. Doesn't love North Korea. I wouldn't even say Buffett and Bill Gates are liberal or that progressive. I'm talking like, I don't know. None of this matters. Billionaires are not involved in politics in the same way that you're involved in politics, okay? They don't have like allegiances to liberalism or whatever. They're billionaires. Anyway, Bezos hasn't expressed his political beliefs. Oh yeah, he has. He's playing catch up to Elon Musk right now. Him and Mark Zuckerberg got cooked so hard. They literally bet on the wrong train. They got on the wrong train, dude. They foolishly were like, oh yeah, I'm agnostic, but like kind of liberal, you know? They fund both parties. It's more a matter of, you know, where the 51% rather than the 49% goes to. And they basically fucked up. So now they're playing catch up right now desperately by doing shit like this. Anyway, I can't talk too much about Boss Man here, okay? At least he looks good. Unlike fucking Elon Musk. For those of you who don't know, Gawker was nuked by Peter Thiel, who funded Hulk Hogan in his lawsuit against the publication for publishing the wrestler's sex tape. Do with that information what you will. Link to the original Black Book article. Also, I didn't compare a few pages of the unredacted book that has been floating around since 2019 and 2020. And from a few pages I looked at, it appears it's the same as the original 2015 Gawker book. You can see that one, which is easier to navigate below. And a bonus one, the 1998 Trilateral Commission members list, which includes proud member Jeffrey Epstein. Wait, so you're a sellout? What do you mean? A sellout? Can you seriously not talk about Bezos? No, I'm fucking memeing, dude. What are you talking about? When I said, oh, I can't talk too much shit, that's Boss Man, I'm joking. Dude, I just spent the last hour and a half talking about fucking Peter Thiel, a dude who has killed and will kill again. The fuck do you mean? I'm too much of a small fry for any of these people to actually actively take notice of and then eradicate. Anyway, you underestimate how dumb chatters are being? Today was so weird, it has Portnoy posting like a lib. I'm going to be fair, these questions need to be asked today. Why is the release of the Epstein list always a shit show? What point of booting out illegals and criminals while somehow becoming a safe haven for the Tate brothers? Why is crypto in the toilet if Trump is crypto king? How far does Tesla stock have to crash before Elon goes back to work? Oh my God, this is brilliant. They got fucking Pork Boy posting like a liberal. Oh my God. Peter Thiel's model ex-boyfriend died in 2023 under suspicious circumstances. Yes, he fell out of his apartment after having public and private disagreements with Peter Thiel on numerous occasions. That's right. That's just how it works sometimes. Yeah. I wonder how, you know, all of these guys who have direct ties to Jeffrey Epstein, including but not limited to Elon Musk, can just get away with just constantly posting about Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, let's leak the client list or whatever. Okay. They always talk about the pedophilic elite, Jeffrey Epstein and the pedophilic elite. They always say this shit. And they're like Epstein associates. I think it's because they know that the truth will never come out. I mean, like I've said, we're talking about people who have direct Epstein links. Virtually all of these like rich, wealthy people. Jeffrey Epstein's links are so fucking expansive. Noam Chomsky met with Jeffrey Epstein's like butler and shit. Okay? Like, who the fuck isn't an Epstein orbiter at that point? Don't bring it up, bro. I know. I don't like talking about it too much, but I mean, this is the truth. So yeah, Stephen Hawking is a Jeffrey Epstein orbiter. Bill Gates is a Jeffrey Epstein orbiter. So many academics is really sad. Pinker too. If you know anything about Pinker's work, it should not be surprising to you that he's a fucking Jeffrey Epstein associate. He is a ginormous piece of shit. So of course, Stephen, everything is great. Liberalism is awesome. Pinker is, you know, a Jeffrey Epstein orbiter. He's like, if I were to point to someone from a lineup, knowing about their background, knowing about their worldview, I would say Steven Pinker is like, you know, the #1 guy. Anyway, what's going on at MIT, Lamau? Come on, dude. A lot of these, Yale is for the CIA, and MIT is for all the tech nerdy defense contractors, and also for the CIA as well. Yeah, there were a lot of reasons why academics would end up in Epstein's orbit. Part of what he did was ingratiate academics to him through numerous generous grants and offers to host them for discussions and then talk to them about how they could preserve his egg-shaped penis. Yeah, MIT for the NSA, Yale for the CIA. Sorry, you're right. Anyway, genuine question. Why do you think so many rich and powerful people are just insane sex criminals? A shell-shocked Karine Jean-Pierre recounts the days of their Biden's disastrous debate performance, lamenting how hurtful and shocking the firing squad of Democrats coming out against him was. Instead of coming together to really be unified and trying to figure out how to save our democracy, how do we fight back? That was what I was seeing.
It was a firing squad, and I had never seen anything.
Dude, you are such a fucking clown. You are such a charlatan. Oh my God. Oh, it was a firing squad. Yeah, your job, which you were really bad at, surprisingly, okay, was to make it seem like this fucking carcass was actually a competent human. Where is Biden now? Where's he at? Where the fuck is Joe Biden? Why isn't he coming out and criticizing Trump? You know why? Because he's fucking dead. Okay? He's been dead. He's been dead. Ridiculous shit. He's been dead since like 2019 too. It's not like it's new. I can't fucking believe that so many goddamn liberals who are infinitely more susceptible, I think. Like, Republicans are susceptible to supposedly independent propaganda, okay? In the dumbest forms of it, as long as it's like being told by a Republican. But liberals are just as susceptible to fucking propaganda. As long as it comes from MSNBC and it uses academic language, liberals will believe in anything. They'll believe in anything. They believe that Joe Biden was mentally competent. Brother, you're coming after a queer black woman, tread lightly? Oh my God, shut up.
Anything like it before.
She's a fucking genocide dare, dude. I have the same level of smoke for her as I did to every single member of the Bush administration, including the people that managed the press pool back then.
I've never seen...
Luckily enough, all of them have MSNBC jobs now.
...a party do that in the way that they did. And it was hurtful and sad to see that happening. A firing squad around a person who I believe was a true patriot, a person who I believe did everything that he can for this country, a person who I believe, as I mentioned before, has done more in one term than most presidents had done in 2 terms, historical things. And I was shocked by what I was seeing.
Yeah, shocking. Like, it was shocking that these fucking liberals that normally would never chirp about anything, literally saw the truth for what it was, that the president of the United States of America was a walking carcass whose mental faculties had completely diminished.
Just to clarify, these are other Democrats and Democratic leadership coming out against Biden.
Yep.
Do people like her believe what they say? No, dude. She just wants to fucking work for Obama's production company, okay? And maybe secure an Oscar down the line when they make a video about how sad they some shit 5 years from now, okay? That's what all of these fucking rats want at the end of the day. They're careerists. They're sociopathic careerists. You look back at every single one of these dipshits and the things that they advocated for at a certain point in time, the things that they wrote extensively on, okay? Virtually every single one of those positions change. I wonder why. Because they killed a part of their fucking soul that actually speaks truth to power, or at least is just like a normal person, okay? I mean, yeah, look at Van Jones. Van Jones used to be a Maoist, dude. Van Jones was a Maoist. He got $100 million from Jeff Bezos. Van Jones was a Maoist. Van Jones now is going to the pro-Israel rally in Washington, D.C. to speak after Pastor John Hagee, who once famously, the evangelical Zionist pastor, who once famously said Adolf Hitler was godsend so that the Jews could create the nation of Israel, and that he was also, Adolf Hitler was also Jewish, he said. Okay? That guy, Van Jones goes and speaks at that fucking conference, the Let's Do More Genocide Please conference, and then turns around and cries about fucking college campus protesters being too anti-Semitic. Get the fuck out of here. None of these people give a fuck about anti-Semitism. Okay, suck my dick.
I had never seen anything like that. That was, if you're asking me, the thing that I saw in those 3 weeks, that was shocking. Shocking. And instead of coming together to really be unified.
Barack Obama too. That fucking coward. Homies with Saeed and also Rashid Khalidi. Okay. Literally sold out his pastor after using him for fucking clout in Chicago. Yeah.
And trying to figure out, how do we save our democracy? How do we fight back? That's what I was seeing.
Yes, they're all ambitious monsters, every single one of them. Fact post, new FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino calls for Trump to fabricate executive powers by setting up a fake courtroom in the White House to override federal judges. Why can't the executive just be the judge? Love how the right pretended for so long to care about the Constitution, and now they're like, why can't the executive just be the judiciary?
Donald Trump's the executive. He says we have a problem in the executive branch. Hold on to these payments. The judge can't order these. He's just making it up. So here's my suggestion. If liberals are okay with judges making up constitutional powers, are they okay with Donald Trump fabricating executive powers? How about this? How about Donald Trump in the East Room of the White House sets up a courtroom, like, remember the Batman movie? Scarecrow has the courtroom.
Oh, God, of course. No conservative analogy can ever be complete. No conservative analogy can ever be complete without, like, a reference to Marvel or DC or a hamburger, okay, or a gun. It's just like, we're led by children. This is the deputy director of the FBI, chat, okay? I feel like Batman or Halo. This is currently the deputy director of the fucking FBI. Americans, when thinking about undermining the Constitution and eviscerating the judiciary by making the executive office take control over this power, imagine Batman. Imagine Batman and hamburgers and also a gun. Batman has a gun and he's eating a hamburger. That's what I imagine Trump like.
What was it, the Bane one? It was at the Dark Knight or whatever. We need to do. We need to set up a courtroom. Donald Trump can sit there. He can even wear like the wigs they wear in the UK court system, and he can just start making judicial decisions. He can't do that, bro. The judge can't do it either. What's the difference? If the judge is the executive, why can't the executive be?
Yes, he also, of course, literally took the position of the villain in the Batman story. He's like, yeah, why can't he just be the villain? Oh, God, this country is so fucked, dude. Anyway, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that Epstein had connections to the Israeli intelligence community, says Julie K. Brown. Robert Maxwell certainly had those kinds of connections, and Epstein had a close relationship with Robert Maxwell. The 59-year-old American journalist told the Times of Israel via Zoom call from her home in Hollywood, Florida. Brown keenly stresses the striking similarities between Jeffrey Epstein's death in August 2019 and Robert Maxwell's death in November 1991. Also, if you want to know how fucking deep that well goes, by the way, Robert Maxwell is connected to Jamal Khashoggi, and also Jamal Khashoggi is connected to Mohammed bin Salman. I believe the boat that Robert Maxwell was killed on was later, I think later sold to Jamal Khashoggi. Was that the right? Was that? Anyway, the 68-year-old British media mogul was said to have drowned after falling from his luxurious yacht, the Lady Ghislaine, near the Canary Islands. Spanish police insisted no foul play was suspected in Maxwell's death, but rumors about how exactly Maxwell died have never gone away. One theory points to a possible suicide. Another claims Maxwell was assassinated by the Israeli Mossad intelligence agency for which he was secretly working. Maxwell is buried on Jerusalem's Mount of Olives. Many members of the Israeli intelligence community attended his funeral. So did Yitzhak Shamir, Israel's then prime minister. Shamir eulogized the British tycoon for the political connections he brought to Israel during the 1980s and for the money he invested in it. 2 years ago, while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges, 66-year-old American financier Epstein was found hanging in his cell in a Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. Since then, numerous theories have swirled about Epstein's true cause of death, making the leap from conspiracy fodder into the cultural mainstream. Why would Epstein give up before he even got to court, Brown asks. She also points to a number of other murky details. Epstein breaking 3 bones in his neck before he died. The fact that the 2 prison guards who were supposed to be keeping a watchful eye on Epstein in his Manhattan jail cell mysteriously fell asleep at the same time. Also, the footage. There is no footage in that time frame, mysteriously. Only in that time frame. There's footage before, there's footage after, just no footage of Jeffrey Epstein's mysterious case of suicide. Maybe he's a shy boy who planned it out and he didn't want to kill himself in front of the cameras. Perhaps. There's also more stuff because the previous cell he was in, he was put next to some psychopathic cop who I believe beat his ass too. It just defies common sense, Brown says. And why are U.S. authorities not making the information they do know about Epstein's death public? One chapter in Brown's book, Epstein openly said he was terrified that his cellmate might literally kill him. The psychopathic cop. Officer Tartaglione, a wonderful figure. Didn't he like literally fucking hide? He killed a bunch of people, ex-cop, who killed a bunch of people and then buried the bodies so shittily that like the hands were sticking out from the ground. Yeah, he killed a bunch of drug dealers. Yeah. Minor Pop, who killed at least 4 people as a drug ring enforcer, had access to Epstein, found him after the first suicide attempt, gasping on the floor, and sometimes shared his cell. Just fan service Easter eggs. Yep. Wait, drug dealers or kids dealing drugs? No, drug dealers that he was working with, that he fucking killed. Like, brutally. Why he looked like Kevin James? He looks like Kevin James on Anavar. Yes, he was an enforcer. He wasn't like actually just like a full-blown cop that hated drug dealers or some shit. No, it wasn't some extra weed money kind. It was like, you know, I don't know if they were cartel. I don't remember, but I think it was the Italian mob, maybe. Anyway, one chapter in Brown's latest book argues the complex relationship Jeffrey Epstein had with the Maxwell family may provide further answers. The history shows back to the mid-'80s when Epstein allegedly began helping Robert Maxwell hide money in numerous offshore bank accounts. Maxwell, a self-made billionaire, was born Jan Ludwig Heimann Benjamin Hawk into a poor Yiddish-speaking Orthodox Jewish family in Czechoslovakia in 1923. Maxwell lost both of his parents in the Holocaust and later made his fortune in the book publishing and newspaper industries. He went on to become a parliamentary representative of Britain's Labour Party, but the final years of Maxwell's life were plagued by financial trouble and earned him the nickname the Crook of the Century. Maxwell defaulted on $2 billion worth of loans and subsequently raided millions of pounds from his company's retirement fund, even stealing from his own staff's pensions and shares in Britain's Mirror Group as he refused to face the inevitable bankruptcy. There's a lot of other stuff that Robert Maxwell did as he was a Mossad operative, but I doubt that the fucking Times of Israel will be detailing those those actions, I suspect. Yeah, he was also a part of the OSS initially. Yes, he owned the Mirror and the New York Post, I believe. Yeah, Tetris. He was the one who tried to buy Tetris from the USSR. Following Robert Maxwell's death 3 decades ago, Epstein became an important figure for certain members of the Maxwell family, who were then left bankrupt and riddled with debt. Brown knows, for instance, that Epstein attended an event at New York's Plaza Hotel at which the YIVO Institute for Jewish Research paid tribute to Robert Maxwell. The author also speculates that Epstein may have even offered financial assistance to Robert Maxwell's wife, Elizabeth, when she became a widow. Epstein then became romantically involved with Elizabeth and Robert Maxwell's ninth child, Ghislaine. Known to be her father's favorite child and his most trusted confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell may have been aware of the many secrets her father took to the grave relating to his controversial political, financial, and espionage life. Anyway, in Soviet Russia, people commit suicide by stabbing themselves in the back 50 times. In democratic America, okay, they do that in America too. Look at the famous incident of that one lady who stabbed herself in the back of the head 32 times. And then current governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, hid the case or did not prosecute the case because the person who was most likely responsible for the murder of the individual, his father was a donor and a friend to Josh Shapiro. That case is reopened, yeah. Anyway. It was not public knowledge that Epstein had 4 of his accomplices named in a secret plea agreement received immunity from all federal criminal charges until Brown's explosive expose published 3 years ago. That's the names I would like to know. Yeah. Who were the other people that got permanent immunity? When the story broke, it led the federal prosecutors in New York to open a fresh criminal investigation, which resulted in Epstein being subsequently arrested and charged in the summer of 2019. It also led to Alexander Acosta resigning as labor secretary in the Trump administration in July 2019. I wonder why that happened. Hey, remember Trump administration labor secretary Alexander Acosta? Weird. Crucially, Brown's story explained how Acosta had helped cut the dodgy deal with Epstein's legal team back in 2008 when he was a federal prosecutor in Miami. Brown knows that Epstein's vast fortune, then estimated to be approximately $500 million, enabled him to hire a so-called legal dream team, which included lawyers such as Kenneth Starr, Alan Dershowitz, with the necessary skills, political connections, and aggressive tactics to make sure he could get immunity. Dershowitz has his own political connections and knows a lot of different people in the U.S. criminal justice system, says Brown, but he's going to be watching Maxwell's forthcoming court case closely to see who she names on what information she really has. Why do you think Ghislaine is not speaking out against the corrupt, powerful people? Is it because she's scared she will be Epstein? Yeah, I mean, she didn't get killed. That's all you need to know. She's just doing her time, you know? Other high-profile political figures named in Brown's book accused of participating in Epstein's international sex trafficking ring include allegations against Israel's 10th Prime Minister, Ehud Barak. Brown says all the accused have a right to be innocent until proven guilty, though she stresses given the complex history of Epstein case and the cover-ups involved, these allegations need to be urgently investigated. The FBI, the U.S. federal authorities, and law enforcement authorities in Europe should be looking at the financial and social connections Epstein had with all these people, says Brown. Epstein had a whole group of people helping him carry out these crimes. Epstein did not do this alone, she says. There were plenty of people that either knew about what Epstein was doing or even participated in what he was doing. So yeah, Jeffrey Epstein, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to watch Drewski tonight? It might be too late